Studies of interference in serial verb reactions by J. Ridley Stroop is commonly referred to as the Stroop effect or the Stroop test. Inhibition and interference have been studied by physiologists and psychologists since the 1890s. During this time, they discussed the law of associative inhibition. The law of associative inhibition refers to the idea that when A is associated with B, when trying to associate A with other letters such as K, B will get in the way. Interference is the idea that old material and memories will interfere with new material and memories. One prior study found that interference can be decreased through practice. All of these conclusions are important when considering where the ideation of the Stroop study came from. Stroop was very interested in the effects of practice on interfering color and word stimuli, so he underwent experiments where reading color names and naming color interfered. This study consisted of 3 experiments, each of which was ran with different participants and included a practice trial of 10 words. Experiment 1 consisted of 70 college student participants and contained 4 lists of 100 colors. When I say ready, go, make sure you read the words as quickly and accurately as possible and correct the errors you make. Ready, go.
Brown, red, orange, green, blue, purple, red, green, brown, orange, purple.
It took approximately 2.3 seconds longer to read the color words versus the black words, meaning there was a 5.6% increase in the amount of time it took to read the colored list over the black list. There is no interference effect. The second experiment has an extremely similar procedure to the first test, but the 4 lists consist of 2 lists written in squares and 2 lists written in uncorresponding colors. In this experiment, there were 100 new participants, and they were given the same instructions, but for each error that went uncorrected, the average time per word was added. Ready, go.
Red, orange, green, blue, purple, brown, orange, blue, red, green, brown, blue, orange, brown, red.
On average, it took 63.3 seconds to read the blocked list and name the colors. It took approximately 110.3 seconds to read the colors on the word list, meaning there was a 74% increase in the amount of time it took on average to read the interfering color list versus the block list, meaning there was an interference effect. Experiment 3 was a 14-day long study. They read the same list 4 times each day. So the first day, they read the block list. The second day, they read the words on the colored list. The third day, they read which colors each of the squares were. And day 4 through 11, they named the color of each word. Then they worked their way back. For day 12, they did the square list, and day 13 and 14, they just read the name. The last experiment tested practice effects by using the same lists as the prior studies in a longitudinal fashion. Each day, the student read the same list 4 times. After day 14, they found that practicing with interfering stimuli mimics a typical learning curve. The more they practiced, there was less interference effects, but the interference did not disappear. This study concluded that reading is automatic and can cause interference when trying to notice other aspects about words. They also concluded that interference can be decreased with practice, but this may lead to difficulty or interference in other tasks. Today, this study has enhanced our knowledge of interference and inhibition. Experiments similar to the Stroop test are being used to study the ability to concentrate on cognitive tasks while learning by inhibiting irrelevant information around us. The Stroop test is still used in personality tests and concussion tests to measure cognitive abilities.